College football is upon us. And we're getting some good outside the box topics here lately. Got old Con Time and the Meltdown and him asking the band to play his son's rap song and basically melting down in front of the press, him and his son blaming the offensive line, asking how many times Dylan Raiola got hit. Is Dylan Raiola playing for the Colorado Buffaloes? I don't know. But we got a lot of spicy topics tonight. Maybe even a few borderline pornographic kind of thing with the shit that's going on with Shannon Sharpe. I got my little Con Time Deion Sanders shades on right now to try to, see if I can see through the bullshit. They still don't work. Damn, Con Time. Even your glasses are con. But yeah, a lot of spicy topics tonight. We're going to talk about old Con Time once again, losing his noodle left and right. Shannon Sharpe is, I guess, decided to have him maybe a sideshow of some sort on Club Shay Shay. Might be charging for the champagne room for long. From what I understand, Shannon Sharpe has become an Instagram porn star all of a sudden. Then we'll probably talk about some Oklahoma football as well as possibly some Alabama football as well, if we can not squeeze it all in. Some people's already running up in here already. We got Hines 57A in the house. I'm working, but I'm watching and listening. Appreciate you, brother. Fred Bagley Jr. I almost called you Junior, man. I don't know why I did that. Fred Bagley's in the house. Can't wait. This ought to be a good one. Yep, Fred Bagley's got his badge, too. He's deputized. I'll get y'all all on the Outlaw Posse so we can have a big Outlaw Posse gathering somewhere, maybe a neutral site one day. That's my dream, is to get all these college football fans together at one neutral site game, maybe take over a Vanderbilt game, go to Nashville, somewhere like that. Man, it's a great party town and very clean for a big city. That's where I'd like to go. What about y'all? This is going to be a good live stream tonight. Yeah, we got a few topics. That's for damn sure at Thunder OU Center. Mary Caroline's in the house as well. Glad to see you back up in here. Oklahoma fans are super quiet right now. Well, I don't know. Maybe they are, maybe they ain't. I'm sort of an Oklahoma fan. They're like my second favorite team, I would say. I'm not quiet at all. I'm going to bring in a guest later on the show. Hopefully, I'm going to have Johnny Johnson here from our Outlaw Posse group, Next Halen. We're going to be the official group of the Outlaw Posse is Next Halen. It's a nice Van Halen cover band. If you like that kind of stuff, check them out when you get a chance. Well, let's go ahead and, since we've been running our mouth here for almost a good 4 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and bring up a little something here for you guys and gals out there. I've already sent you an invite out, Johnny Johns. Let's see what we got here. Let's get right into the mix here. I want to start with Stephen A. Smith and them basically lubing up Con Time, trying to act like, they're questioning him, but at the same time, they're talking on both sides of the mouth. They can't make their mind up. Or I can go ahead and bring up this Shannon Sharpe deal if y'all want me to. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. All right, here he is. Look, man. Can y'all see that? I'm going to bring it up real quick for y'all. All right. See if I can get it this time. Y'all see that? Can I get it to come up? There we go. Add stage. All right. There we go. I don't know why it made me do that. But there he is in his and all his see if y'all can hear this.
Audio heard for the entire world to hear.
Can y'all hear that?
I'm embarrassed for a number of reasons. People count on Shannon, Shay Shay Media, Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, ESPN. There are a lot of people that count on Shannon to be professional at all times. And I always try to be professional at all times. Even when I'm behind closed doors, I still try to remain a level of professional, although I'm in the privacy of my own home.
Can y'all hear that? Let me know in the comment section if you can hear it. I have a little technical difficulty, but he said that he's professional, even behind closed doors. Damn, man. And you even take professionalism into the bedroom? Well, damn. You basically admitting that you were just a pimp, babe. Well, damn, are you a male whore? Come on, Shannon. You ain't got to be professional in the bedroom, brother. Even if you did accidentally leave it on. Is what I heard. Let me ask you something, Nakia Webb. Can you hear that? Was y'all able to hear the audio of that? Just curious, because like I said, I'm having a little technical difficulties on my end. But people that are all up in arms over this stuff, over Shannon Sharpe, basically leaving on his Instagram, IG, or whatever it is they call it, and accidentally, recording himself having sex in the other bedroom. I think people might be overreacting a little bit, unless you think he done it deliberate and he's trying to get some play from it. And I said to a lot of people in comments today in private that I thought it would actually probably help Shannon. He's got a few independent shows, right? It's Club Shay Shay is not really, who's it sponsored by? So this might make him the Black Joe Rogan. He may blow up after this. This may be the best thing that ever happened in Shannon's career. What do y'all think? Well, Brian Bridges, what happened was Shannon Sharpe left on his Instagram and recorded himself having sex in the other room by accident, supposedly, as he just said. And I'll go ahead and let that play some more for y'all right now.
And I'm very disappointed in myself, not for the act. I think there are millions and billions of people of consenting age that engage in activities, but to have your most intimate detail on the audio to be heard, I'm disappointed in myself. I let a lot of people down. My kids, I reached out to them. I called them. I called my sister. My friends reached out. But guys, this was not staged. Came in, I threw my phone on the bed.
Staged.
Gazed in an activity. I did not know IG Live. I've never been on IG Live. I've never turned IG Live on. So I don't know how it works.
Really?
And so all of a sudden, my other phone is going off and people.
So do y'all buy that? I mean, he don't know how IG works. You don't know how Instagram works. You don't know how he turned it on. You have to click on it to turn it on, brother. Now, you may have thought that you turned it off. That's what I would say, Shannon. I would say, yeah, I'm not really good at it yet. But I wouldn't say that I know absolutely nothing about it, because obviously you knew enough to click on it. You just didn't click off of it, brother. You got it up, but you didn't. I ain't even going to go there. I'm not even going to go there. He gonna get me in trouble, man. Shannon Sharpe about to get me in trouble. Was you able to hear that? Drop in the comment section. Let me know if you're having any problems with the audio on the Shannon Sharpe clip here.
People are calling me FaceTime that I've never talked to a day in my life on FaceTime. And it didn't, I'm like, why are y'all calling me FaceTime? And after a while, Jamie Fritz, who's been my longtime marketing guy, he finally got through to me and he said, Shannon, you on IG Live. I'm like, doing what? I'm like, what am I on IG Live for? I ain't hit no IG Live button. He says, they can hear. I'm like, so now, Ocho, I say ask for patience. He said they can hear. And now I'm starting to get agitated again because you called me and say I'm on IG Live when I know I didn't click myself on IG Live. And he said they can hear me. I said, hear me doing what?
Somebody
said, it sounds like you were having sex.
Somebody turned it on, Shannon.
Man, my heart sank.
Maybe
it dropped.
Maybe it was
and obviously, I run my accounts, but Jordan being the good Samaritan, the good soldier that he is, Jordan the one that cut it off. Because hell, I didn't even know it was on. Jordan cut it off. Jordan put the message up. And then after I called my agent, the agency, I called ESPN after I just got this good, tell them the truth. I said, I just got to tell them the truth. My phone wasn't hacked. It wasn't a prank. It was me being a healthy, active male.
Did he say active male? Damn, Shannon. What the hell does that have to do with anything, brother? Did you leave it up or did you not? I don't know, man. You said nobody hacked your phone, but how would it stay on if you didn't click it on? Someone had to click it and turn it on, Shannon. Somebody had to, brother. Just go ahead and own that shit. This is what probably happened. He probably clicked on it, turned it on. He didn't know it was on, and he just left it on. And he walked in the other room, and he started handling his business. Started laying the pipe. I was being that plumber all freaking night. But man, you're being too elaborate with this stuff. To be honest with you, it's really none of nobody's business. So what? You accidentally left your Instagram account on, and they heard you in the other room having sex. It's not that big of a deal to me. I know there might be some that's out to get Shannon, because there are some stuff that Shannon says that pisses me off too. But people all made stupid mistakes or by accident, because a lot of us are Shannon's age, like myself. We make mistakes on the internet that normally younger folks probably wouldn't make. And I think that's all it boiled down to. Calvin Glover said he butt dialed the IG fans. He didn't more than butt dial, man. He dialed it with something else. Damn, boy. Key Webb says this is going to be a South Park episode. Damn, man. I can't believe that, man. That's awful. Nah, man, I accidentally turned on YouTube Live, set my phone down, and didn't even realize I touched the button. It happens. Yeah, I can buy that, Hines. That's what I'm saying. As much as I'd like to go after Shannon and just grill the ever-loving crap out of him, because some of the dumb stuff he says sometimes regarding sports, I just can't do it, man. I feel for Shannon. I feel like, hey, I've done numerous stupid things here online because I'm just not educated about certain things. I don't know any better. So Calvin said he might have ball dialed. Ball dialed. Yeah, so what are you saying, man? You trying to say that Shannon teabagged the Instagram? What you trying to say here, Calvin? It's getting rated R really quick tonight, man. I might have to get the FCS or whatever it's called, the FCC, to come in here and regulate me tonight, because I might need some regulation. Fred says he thinks he left his phone on accidentally on purpose. That could have happened too. I mean, hey, if you're as vivacious as that dude looks, and he probably, I don't know, I mean, I'm just guessing, he's probably well endowed. It might be a boost for him. Let's accidentally on purpose act like, I'm a gas at myself. I should have known better. I've got to do better for Club Shay Shay. Is it just me, or does Club Shay Shay sound like a strip club? It sounds like some kind of sexually perverted show. So it'll fit right in there, man. You have a champagne room for real now. Damn. Shannon hitting on something big time. Johnny Johns is in the house. By the way, I sent you your invite, Johnny Johns. So accept that whenever you feel free to accept it. And you can sit in queue until I get through running my mouth in here. Johnny John says he's 50-50 on it was an accident or on purpose. Yeah, I'm the same way. But to me, I'm like, So what? You know, everybody does it. Everybody has sex. Everybody, accidentally does stupid shit on the internet. It's just that he combined the two together, man. Trying to keep it together tonight, man. Y'all got me giggled over here, man. Got my little tickle box turned over. Nakia Webb says, I heard that the only way Shannon gets sharp is listening to his podcast with Skip. Now, I don't know if Skip can get away with that. I don't know if Skip can get away with that, man. What do you think? What do y'all think about Skip, man, leaving his shit on? You think Skip should leave his on accidentally on purpose? Nah, let's not do that. That'd be almost as bad as RuPaul or something like that. Good thing I hope it was a woman in the other room, man, because then there will be an outcry. All right. So that's the Shannon Sharpe incident that we just touched upon. So now I'm going to move on to something else that I've been wanting to talk about. It's this interview on First Take. Share it real quick. All right. Let me see what we got here. All right. That's his take on it. Making excuses for him already, as you can see. Let's fast forward this a little bit. Rewind just a tad. Here we go. And that was Paul Finebaum's take on it. Was you able to hear that? I don't think it added it to it. I don't think I got it right. How's it going, brother?
What's going on, man?
All right, did that clip come through
I didn't hear it. I actually thought like maybe I needed to leave and come back in because I thought it was glitching out on me.
Yeah, I think it didn't play for me, so I might have to go back in here and play it again. Something's wrong with my StreamYard tonight or something. So let me go in here and do this real quick.
Yeah, it seemed like it froze up kind of thing.
But what he said there
There
really
it
doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, he's getting sacked. It's the same story, and I think the bigger story, rather than coming down on Shedeur, is his father. What kind of program is Deion Sanders running at Colorado? He promised all the changes this year. He got mad at everyone who dared to criticize, and it's the same team. They're not even as good as they were a year ago. I mean, poor Shedeur is getting killed. You can't get sacked that many times. He won't make it to midseason, let alone at the end. And that score was so deceiving. I watched that game, as I know you guys did, and they were destroyed in the first half. I mean, that game was over. It was 28-0, and Colorado made it not even respectable, but they just didn't make it as bad as it really was. And every game now is going to be a battle for them. And I just sense that Deion Sanders and this whole thing is going to come apart at some point. And without Shedeur and without Travis, he's going to bow out. I mean, I cannot imagine, as much as you guys love Deion Sanders, that he's going to be able to put up with this humiliation week after week. And I bet he's already looking for a way out.
That was Paul Finebaum's take on the situation. So, and then later on in the show, Stephen A. Smith says some stuff about how he agrees with Paul Finebaum, and then he backhands it and basically starts talking about it's because where Deion's at, that he can't win at Colorado, that you can't win at Colorado, and that's the problem. And Deion basically needs a better job, like Florida State or an SEC school. I'm like, how's that going to solve anything when the dude refuses to go out and recruit? He won't go out and recruit in person.
Right. It's not like he's at Vanderbilt and even I know Vanderbilt, they're a bad example right now, but it's not like he's at like Colorado compared to the Big 12. Like, they're a pretty good school compared to the Big 12, and they've won championships. I want to say they won one in the 90s. I know they competed in Big 12 championships in the early 2000s. Really, all the way up till they left the Big 12, they were a pretty tough team, and they were real good in the 90s. But it's not like he's up there at a school that's just impossible. You can definitely, a good coach could win the Big 12 with Colorado and make a playoff run. And I agreed with what Paul Finebaum said when he talked about what is he going to do when Travis Hunter and his son's gone. Because I feel like they're the only two guys that are worth the Charmin they wipe their butt with, honestly, on that whole team.
Well, I done a short video earlier today about it, and people were calling me racist because I basically said that they're just enabling Deion, man. At this point, Stephen A. Smith, man, saying that you can't win at Colorado, man, that's stupid, man, because they've won at Colorado before. They won a national championship in the 90s. Yeah, I know they had a fifth down that season, but regardless, they still were winning games at a high rate under Bill McCartney, and they've had great players there before with Cordell Stewart and Eric Bieniemy, just to name a few. So
right.
It just sounds like that they're enabling him and just basically making excuses for him.
Right. Yeah. So he was 4-8 last year. He's 1-1 this year. It's probably, I think they're worse this year than they were last year. I think they've even taken a step back. And
he refuses to recruit.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It makes you think maybe he don't plan on being there very long.
That's what I'm saying. Let me play this clip of Stephen A. real quick.
Season off winning their first 3
Can
games.
you hear that?
So you got to understand the kind of mentality and the bravado and the machismo this kid walks around with is part of what makes him great. So I get what you're saying, and he should listen to you, not somebody like me, Shannon, in that particular situation, because you're a Hall of Famer who's done it. I'm just trying to contextualize it properly so we make sure that the public understands why he may have done that, even though you're right in saying it wasn't the wisest thing for him to do. Let me piggyback off of Paul Finebaum, and producers leave the both of them up on the screen because I want to see them when I'm saying this stuff. Paul Finebaum, I would love to disagree with you on what you said about primetime Deion Sanders, and you wouldn't be surprised if he's ultimately looking to get up out of there. But I don't disagree with you. A matter of fact, I hope you're right, because I was one of those people, Shannon, that I wanted Deion at Florida State. And then when he didn't get that job, I wanted him at Texas A&M. I don't believe he's going to be able to do but so much recruiting for Colorado, in Boulder, Colorado. And so I believe that what he's experiencing now is going to continue. Put Deion Sanders in a big-time SEC program or something along those lines where recruiting comes into play, and I think that you'll see him do lights out. But in Boulder, Colorado, I just don't believe that's going to happen. But
now, you see what he's done there, right? He comes in and he acts like he's going to agree with him, and then he really don't agree with him. Basically, he's saying, well, it's all Colorado's fault. If he was somewhere else, he would win because the recruiting's so much better in the SEC. You're right. It is so much better, but he's not going to recruit. He's already shown that he won't even go in, do in-home visits. And without, being able to have a head coach that can be a closer, he's never going to win, no matter what program he's at in college.
Right. And to be honest with you, if he did put in the effort and he did some of them in-home visits, oh, dude, it would make a difference. I guarantee he's a great sales guy. He would come in there. I don't think he'd be on the level of Nick Saban or nothing, or Barry Switzer, but I guarantee it would make a difference on some of these recruits. If you have, especially the way he's this big personality, I can't believe he's not doing any. I didn't even know that. I had no idea he wasn't doing any in-home visits. That blows my mind. Like he's too famous to do it or something.
Well, yeah, I mean, him and some of these recruiters, we don't go after 4 or 5-star players. We go after players that come to us. Well, that's why you're not getting 4 and 5-star players, jackass, because they're not going to come.
Right.
A lot of these guys that are playing football now in high school don't even know who Deion Sanders is without Googling his ass. So, I mean, his fame is not as famous as he thinks he is.
Yeah. It would definitely help if he went, but for him to think he's above going to in-home visit, I'll tell you one thing. Even Nick Saban or Kirby Smart or Brent Venables, but Nick Saban isn't even above, like, going to an in-home visit. And I know he probably didn't do an in-home visit to every recruit, but I'll tell you this, we were on the wrong end of it. I remember Kamar Wheaton, 5-star running back. He's going to OU. Everybody in Norman knows it. Everybody in Oklahoma City knows it. We all know Kamar Wheaton's going to Oklahoma. And on the 11th hour, Mr. Nick Saban pays a visit, an in-home visit to the guy's house. And you could imagine how big of a deal it is when Nick Saban comes walking through your damn door, And anyway, that was the end of it, dude. He was going to Alabama. He wasn't going to Oklahoma. And that happened numerous times, man. I know numerous times that we had a recruit, and he was coming to here until Nick Saban wanted to go visit him at his house. And same way with Jason White. He was 100% going to Miami. That was the place he wanted to be. And Bob Stoops called him up and said, he basically said, I know you already made up your mind. You're going to Miami. And he said, but I'd like to come and visit you. And he said, how far is Tuttle, Oklahoma from Norman? And before the turnpike back in the 98 or 99, it was 45 minutes. And Jason White said it's about 45 minutes away from Norman. Bob Stoops said, okay, I'll be there in 45 minutes. And he went straight over there, and that was the end of it. Jason White was going to Oklahoma instead of Miami. But, yeah, them in-home visits are a big, big deal. And I didn't know he wasn't doing any of them. That's a huge mistake, unless he just flat out don't care because he ain't going to be there much longer anyway,
Well, I think that's exactly what it is. I think he just used Colorado to springboard his players, but he might have actually ended up hurting his sons because one of them's already got injured, and he got dinged up, from what I understand. That's why he left with 2 minutes left to go. Supposedly, he got dinged up and had concussion or whatever. But from what I understand, he played after they thought he had a concussion. And if that's the case, there's going to be some more trouble. So, you know, it's like Travis Hunter. They're playing Travis Hunter way too many snaps. I know Travis Hunter's probably like, yeah, put me in, coach, but you're the adult here, and you should know better than put him in that many snaps. He's going to get hurt. He's going to get injured, and then it might mess his career up in the NFL.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he's running them boys ragged for sure. And I really think Shannon Sanders and Travis Hunter are both pretty good ball players, but it sucks because they're on a team that, I mean, what was they, a one-win football team before he got there? I think they would be a one-win football team without Travis Hunter and without Shannon Sanders. And Paul Finebaum was talking about what is he going to do when they're gone. Well, dude, he's screwed. Could you imagine that football team without both of those guys? I mean, we know what it looked like without Travis Hunter last year. They were bad. They were at least competitive the first few weeks. I think they even won the first 3 games. But once he got hurt, they were Dunsky. But I enjoy Colorado, dude. I win money betting against them. They're always overrated. I don't know what everyone sees. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it, man. And it has not a damn thing to do with race.
That's
like,
right.
It's one of them deals. Do you think I'm going to root for a coach just because he's white and not root for the guy that's black? I do not care. Like,
if I criticize anybody that's black, I get accused of being a racist.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's like,
I'm not racist. Actually, you're racist for thinking that because you thought of my white skin color. So guess what?
Right.
Ironically, that makes you the racist, jackass.
Are we only supposed to talk about the black coaches that are real successful? And when we're talking about guys that struggled, we're just not allowed to only talk about the white coaches that struggled. Because if you talk about a guy like Deion Sanders, then you're racist. Unless he's winning and you're telling everybody about how he did a good job. But yeah, it's a deal. I can't stand all that stuff, man. But I know it's like, am I lying? Like when I say I don't think he's going to be very good. I mean, you could say that about Brent Venables or Lincoln Riley, and no one's going to care. You know. You can call it how you see it with those guys, but you do it with Deion Sanders, and it's a problem.
Yeah, he's got a little clique out there, a little groupie. Let me read this comment off real quick. Thunder OU Center says, Larry, he's called Auntie Louise. He's speaking of Uncle Lou. Larry Trowicki was saying that we should listen to Uncle Lou's show. He's a Georgia guy. He's a hedge pisser. And, Larry, we don't call him Uncle Lou anymore. We call him Auntie Louise because he's a big old pudding. and he blocked me from the show because I called him a hedge pisser. But
right. I'm pretty sure he's actually agreed.
This master smack talker. I get this on my show all the time is the reason why I address it. People are always trying to compare me to him or try to get me to go on his show. He won't put me on his show. So
right. Yeah, his opinions are real similar. A lot of his opinions are pretty similar to yours. I know I've listened to a few of his videos. He seems to be pretty straightforward and calls it like he sees it, or at least how he believes it, you know. But he's definitely, if I'm not mistaken, he's kind of been the same opinion as us. He don't believe in Deion Sanders. He thinks he's overrated, and I think he's also one of them guys that he doesn't understand what the big deal is about it. You know, why is this guy so overhyped? And I mean, it's not a shocker his team don't tackle well. Has anybody watched any highlights of Deion Sanders tackling? I mean, that dude couldn't tackle someone in a phone book, dude. He was a horrible tackler. So it's not a shocker that
if Deion didn't intercept the ball, if he didn't deflect the ball away, that guy was probably going to score on him.
Yep.
You're right.
Yeah, I remember there was a guy on my football team that didn't tackle very good, and they would call him Deion and then the guy's last name, and his real life, like for example, his last name was James Smith. Well, he would call him Deion Smith. And the reason why he called him that is because he whipped on those tackles. Anytime it was the dude couldn't tackle nobody. I mean, but he could cover pretty well. But he called him Little Deion, and he'd call him Deion Smith because everybody knew. I mean, dude can't tackle. He's a great athlete, but he can't tackle. And he can't coach neither.
So what do you think about that whole Shannon Sharpe situation I had on earlier? Did you see that?
Man, yeah. On one hand, I understand that people that leak stuff like that accidentally on purpose or whatever, they usually do benefit from it. And I know Kim Kardashian benefited from something like that. Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson, they were huge after that. But then on the other hand, you were saying something about, hey, he is an older guy. Maybe he don't quite have the technology down. I mean, I know my dad, my uncles, and even myself, we'll accidentally butt dial someone. We will freaking, like my dad today butt dialed me, and then I accidentally butt dialed him yesterday on a video call. And luckily, all he heard was a bunch of noise and stuff in my pocket, from at work. But so I could see where the dude might have done it, but man, I don't know. I mean, I'll give him credit, dude. I'm glad he's still getting it in there at his age, though.
Accidentally clicked off that shit. I'm trying to figure this thing out because there's something wrong, something going on in my where I present, the link and stuff. Because I had it running a minute ago and thought it was running. It wasn't. I was just sitting there being quiet. Everybody's probably like, "What the hell is going on here?"
But yeah, I've got to give him credit, man. I mean, I am proud of him for still getting it in there, though, man. At his age, at least he still got it. That's good.
Yeah, I don't even think he took a pill before he went in there. I don't think he.
I know.
He didn't even blue pill that shit.
He just went in there and freestyled it.
That's right. He's like that group called Next Halen. It's got all them groupies.
All right. Next Halen.
We declared Next Halen the official group of the Outlaw Posse, by the way.
Yeah. Hell, Next Halen might need blue pills just to keep up with all them damn groupies and the partying and everything. Man. Yeah, man. What do you think about Alabama and the point spread and Oklahoma and the point spread this week?
Before we move on, I want to just get this one real quick. Calvin said it was the first nut dial in history.
Right.
I think that line's a little big. It surprised me that we're a 16-point favorite on the road in Madison. But Wisconsin has looked pretty bad. They've played very subpar competition. They only beat South Dakota by 2 touchdowns. And that's not South Dakota State. That's just South Dakota. And the team that played before that was also a very low-tier team. I can't remember who it was. It was like a MAC school or another FCS. And they struggled with them too at home. So I don't know. People put too much into that sometimes though, because Wisconsin may have just not been focused, just like we wasn't focused and Oklahoma wasn't focused. I made a video about that. I think you'll see different teams this week. I think Oklahoma does actually have to play, to me, a better team than Alabama. I think Tulane might be a better team than Wisconsin.
I know. That kind of worries me. I hope they do. They got to get some of these guys back. I know that, no coach wants to go on the podium and ever, use injuries as an excuse. But Andrell Anthony and Farouk and Anderson and it's Farouk, Gibson, Anthony, and Anderson. The four of our 5 best wide receivers are out. So all this wide receiver depth that we had, it's just gone. And then 4 different centers. And I know a lot of the fans are calling for Jackson. We need to bench Jackson. We need to bench. I mean, I don't know if that's going to fix it. I mean, you could have Baker Mayfield out there, but if that offensive line isn't blocking, wide receivers aren't getting open. When they are getting open, they're dropping passes. The running game is doing 0. You can't blame the running game on Jackson Arnold. like if we had any kind of a running game, that alone would help him. But on the other hand, there are some plays where I see that there is pretty good pass blocking. They have a good pocket for him, and he's just kind of looking like a deer in the headlights. And I seen that guy losing his confidence, like each play, series 3 and out after 3 and out, series after series that we had to punt. I seen him start losing his confidence more and more, and I hope he gets it back. But I definitely did not see this coming, because in the bowl game, we had a ton of yards. We had like 550 yards, but the turnovers killed us. And I remember thinking, like, dude, we had a makeshift offensive line, true freshman starting his first game, and we put up that many yards. We ran the ball well. We got deep balls down the field. If we can eliminate them turnovers, man, this is going to be a really good offense. The last thing I thought is we would eliminate the turnovers, and then the offense can't throw for an average of 150 passing yards per game.
Right.
So I didn't see that coming. It's almost like he was a gunslinger in that bowl game, and now he's just kind of, I don't know, man. Maybe he's trying to play too safe.
This article here from Sooner Wires, maybe this is the reason why. It says that y'all have had a lot of injuries across the offensive line from Branson Hickman, Jake Taylor, Jerrion Hatchett, and Troy Averett. But Spencer Brown was overwhelming in his start against Temple. So the offensive line, is it a lot different offensive line than it was in the bowl game?
Yeah, I think it is, because there was also 2 of the guys that went ahead and played the bowl game. Like Andrew Rame, I believe, was one of them. And then there was another one. There were 2 guys that they wasn't quite good enough to be, first or even third or fourth round picks or second. They were like barely good enough to be either free agents or like 6th, 7th round picks. Well, those 2 guys went ahead and played because they kind of had something to prove. And then the other 3 guys, I want to say, Troy Everett may have been one of them that did play, and he was projected to be the starting center, and then he got hurt, season-ending injury. And then the Josh Bates guy taking his helmet off like that, dude, he almost screwed us. I was hollering at the TV. My little brother's telling me, Johnny, he's a good kid. He's a really good kid. I said, dude, that kid deserves to never get on the field again. And I understand. I was just mad. Like, we don't have enough offensive linemen right now. We don't have enough depth to bench him. We have to play him now. But Derek said he's actually a really, really good kid. I said, dude, what he just did was stupid, because we were about to punt the ball with less than 10 seconds. I thought it was going to be about 8 or 9 seconds left. So by the time you punt it in the air, you get a little hang time on it. They're going to have one play, if at all, they're going to have one play left to take a shot down the field, and they're down by 4 points, so they have to get it in the end zone. They can't, nothing else is going to work. They got to get it in the end zone. But instead of having one play, I said, now they're going to have 5, maybe 6 plays. That is a big, 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 big difference, having to defend 5 or 6 plays opposed to just 0 or 1. And then imagine if Danny Stutzman gets smoked by a freaking tight end on a block or something. And, imagine if Danny Stutzman gets blocked by someone, twist his knee on one of those last 5 plays, and he's out for the year. You know how horrible he feels then? Or hell, imagine if something happens and they score and they beat us, and you know that you're the guy who took your helmet off. And my dad, and I understand people saying they want to see him mad, they want to see him fired up. I want to see him pissed off and go block somebody. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, there's difference in getting mad and going and doing something, and getting mad and losing your cool and costing your team. So let me go ahead and get this information real quick. Nakia Webb with a $19.99 donation says, I think OU has a real chance of losing this game against Tulane. Jackson Arnold is our quarterback, but we have no real identity on offense.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I don't know what this offense is. I agree with you 100%. I even thought that myself. Like, dude, I don't know what this offense is. Like, at least in the bowl game, they had some kind of identity. I know their identity was let's put up 550 yards and then get just enough turnovers to let Arizona win the game. But this team has no identity, or the offense doesn't. And yeah, I promise you, I'm taking Tulane in the points, no doubt about it. And I love OU. I got OU tattooed on my arm. But yeah, we could lose it, but I could also see us coming out and with our head on fire and winning by a couple touchdowns. Like I could see it going either way. But what I told one of my guys, that's a bookie guy, I said, dude, I want to put $100 on Tulane, and I hope I'm dead wrong. I said, if something happens and OU not only wins the game, but we win it by a couple touchdowns, I will gladly eat the $100. Like, I will be happy with eating the $100 on it. But I don't know. They might get it together. I hope they do. I know if they don't, someone's going to lose their job, and it's going to be the starting quarterback who loses his job first.
Yeah, probably.
And if that don't work, then it'll be Seth Luttrell that loses his job. And
a lot of people are wishing they hadn't wished Jeff Lebby away at this point, I think.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Someone just sent me this. Colorado State, who almost beat Colorado last year, by the way, has been talking some smack about Deion and them. And I was just going to play. Tell me if you can hear this.
And that's just something that's been sitting on everybody, mind since we came back from break. We owe them. And we walked away from that game, as, we kind of left it all on the field. I don't feel like we left it all on the field because we should have murdered them guys. And, they came out with that attitude as they were on top of the world. And this ain't no Cinderella story, so we coming for revenge.
Yeah, they came out with that attitude and thought it was going to be a cakewalk. They saw the reports, 27.5 points or whatever it was. And they got a rude awakening real quick. And I think it goes to show that the hype, the media train, all that, it only gets you so far. At the end of the day, you have to line up 11 guys against our 11 guys, and we'll find out who wants it more. And we'll see how far Instagram followers gets them.
We all came here to play football. So at the end of the day, the millions of followers and fans that they then produced and got, and celebrities that then jumped on their side because of who Deion Sanders is, at the end of the day, Deion Sanders ain't playing. It's those players playing. So those players better back up on what they speak about.
Oh, God. Dang. I love it, man.
They ain't pulling no punches, man. They're like, your Instagram followers ain't gonna help you, man. That's almost right up there with Dan Lanning saying they play for clicks and we play for real.
That was exactly what come to mind when he said that, man. That was exactly what I thought. What time is that one on? I cannot wait for that one, man.
I have no idea what time it is. Maybe somebody in the comment section can let us know.
Yeah.
It's a Colorado State.
Y'all can let us.
Because if they lose to in-state Colorado State, there's going to be real problems.
Man, it
would not surprise me, and I thought about this the other day and I forgot to say it, but it would not surprise me if Deion benched his son to protect him. Because if he keeps getting knocked around, man, he's not going to make it to the NFL.
Yeah, he's falling in the draft, man. He's falling out like they were. I heard a deal today where he's falling out of the top 10 every week. And
I wouldn't waste a first round pick on that guy. The way he's talking about his offensive line.
Right. Yeah, I would draft him, but I wouldn't draft him in the first round.
No,
but he's got enough talent that he's worth taking a swing at. Like if he's still there, somehow he's still there late in the second or early third or whatever, I would take him then. But I wouldn't take him number one or even top 10 or nothing like that for sure. But he does have some pretty good arm talent, and it would be nice to see what he would do playing with a good team and real coaching, and a coach that will not tell him that like right now he's coaching for like he's already made it, he's already the shit,
Yeah.
Do you think he works as hard as Jalen Hurts did in college?
No.
No.
Jalen Hurts' father ain't there. Jalen Hurts' father's not his coach.
Right. And the funny thing is, if Jalen Hurts' dad was his coach, I guarantee you, his dad was a lot different than Deion Sanders. He was the guy that you could go out there and complete, 17 out of 20 and 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and his dad will tell you about, those 3 passes. Man, you made a really bad read on that pass right there and that one right there. And you also made a horrible audible right here, costed your team a first down. He would pick him apart, but that's just what kind of guy those kind of guys are. But imagine if Deion Sanders' son had a coach that pushed him and made him work hard opposed to telling him he's already the shit. I'd like to see what he would be, but I know, and I'm not saying the kid don't. I highly doubt he just don't work hard at all. But what I'm saying is, Jalen Hurts was the kind of guy after a game where he completed over 90% of his passes. It was incredible. He goes out there after the game. This was like either 11 a.m. kick, and he is in the weight room working out. And also running. I think he was either running stairs or them stairs they got in the weight room where it's like an escalator type thing. And he's in there working out, and some of his teammates noticed. And I guess the way he looked at it is, I'm going to set the example. And his teammates, people asked him it was a press conference after the game, or it was like the next week or whatever. They said, man, we heard that you were working out after a game. Like you were in there for a long time. It wasn't just no light workout. And he basically said, I'm putting everything I got into this because I know what it's like to get your job taken. And I know what it's like to not be good enough to play. And I never want to let that happen again. And so, yeah, and even though Tom Brady had a similar mindset, but yeah, I know I've went kind of far off the rails here, but yeah, I don't think the kid works near as hard as a Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I don't believe he does either, and it's only because his dad enables that kind of atmosphere to go on.
Yep.
At the university, not just. It ain't just him. It's Shiloh and it's Travis Hunter too, because those guys come with him from Jackson State.
He said 6:30 Oklahoma time.
That's right, on the Colorado State game.
I'm guessing, yeah, he's talking about that Colorado State game. Yeah, I want to take Colorado, man. I mean Colorado State. I won money I took Nebraska, and that was the one that would have been the winner, but Iowa screwed up my card for me. But, yeah, I think it's good money going against Colorado. And it was good money last year. Their record against the spread is really bad.
So, we got someone else chiming in on the whole Shannon Sharpe Instagram debacle here. It's Pat McAfee. Imagine that. Pat McAfee usually don't voice his opinion a lot, does he?
Right.
He says. Look at here.
Of it. Josh Allen understands that this is like, I don't want to say his team that it hasn't been, but this is your job.
That's the wrong one. I don't want to hear that shit.
Possible. All knew it was impossible as was happening whenever the hack happened.
That's not the right clip. They give you the wrong clip, brother.
Way this whole thing is. Yep. Instead, he comes out and says, "Yeah, you caught me.
I'll get it in."
Maybe it was a little further back.
You ever thought of that?
Pretty good.
Seems like it's pretty good.
Smart.
Now there was an out. We were trying to figure out an out for him, right? Weren't we? That was kind of what we were doing yesterday because he said it was hacked, and we all said, "Well, that's not possible." And then I guess the way it could be hacked, somebody logs into his account, and then they're the ones actually doing the deed.
Yeah.
So then, but you could hear him talk a little bit, but he could say, a lot of people sound like everybody's trying to sound like damn Shannon Sharpe. This is the way this whole thing is. Instead, he comes out and says, "Yeah, you caught me.
I'll get it in.
Sue me."
Yeah.
So we're
young and healthy.
Yeah, young and healthy.
Exactly.
Ocho questioned his cardiovascular ability because there was a little bit of breathing there at the end, and that's going to happen. They say that's one of the best workouts in time.
That's right.
And Shannon Sharpe is a fitness guru.
Yeah, I don't think it's, had the dude been on there like whacking his pud or something, I think it would have been a lot more shameful than if you were on there having sex with your girlfriend or your wife or whatever, Like,
he said Ocho couldn't make fun of his stamina anymore. From what I understand, that was left on and he was in the other room. You couldn't really see anything. All you could hear was noise, the sounds you hear only associated with sex. So he's got a show called Club Shay Shay. It sounds like a strip bar anyway. So I don't know if ESPN has their hands on that or if that's an independent thing of his own. But if it is an independent show unto himself, he could end up blowing up like Joe Rogan over this.
I mean, yeah, he could. That's usually how that works. You're probably spot on. But I would have come out and said, man, she was giving me a good back massage, and I was giving her a foot massage. Man, that's all that was. Yeah. Oh well.
I haven't heard the tape yet. I guess I need to try to find it.
I haven't heard it.
I mean, you hear some slapping and popping going on there. Ain't what you can say, man. There ain't gonna be no massaging. I ain't never heard nobody massage anybody that hard, man. That's a hard massage. You get.
So he was clapping them cheeks then. Okay.
I guess. I don't know. I haven't heard the clip. I'm just assuming.
All right. I haven't heard it yet either. That's why I was saying.
He's all you mean the Club Shay Shay.
I heard it and I thought it was a joke at first. And
you don't know what the
right. I really just assumed it was a joke, but they said he was on that ass like gummy bears on braces.
It sounds like a sticky situation.
It's a sticky situation. God.
We're going to get hit by the FCS tonight.
I know it. I know.
So coming up tonight, this weekend's games, man, I'll go ahead and, since there's a lot of Oklahoma people in here, a lot of Alabama people, what do you see happening for Oklahoma in the next few weeks?
Man, I think in the next 2 weeks, we're going to be able to tell how good our defense is. Like, so far, we hope and we think that our defense is good, but they've played Temple and they played Houston that has a better defense than they have an offense. And once we play, now Tulane's got Mario Williams, who used to play at OU. And, Tulane. Tulane has Mario Williams that used to play at OU. Of course, he also played at USC. And he's averaging I want to say it was well over 20 yards a catch. And then the other wide receiver's been doing pretty good too. Their offensive line comes off the ball like complete opposite of OU's offensive line. Like they come off the ball with some authority. And now they may block the wrong dude from time to time, but they look a lot meaner than our offensive line so far. But what I would expect, man, like how I truly feel about it, and I'm always trying to be as honest as I can. Okay, if I was to bet $100 on the OU and Tulane game, if that point spread was still at 17, I'm taking Tulane all day. But at 13.5, now I'm a little worried to take Tulane because I could see us, if we get it together, I could see us where we win it like 28-14, or maybe it's 35-21 or something like that, And so, but if we don't get it together, I mean, it's going to be bad. We're going to end up losing it by, 10 points. If we play.
I thought at the beginning of the season that was the one given thing that couldn't happen. These first 3 games, you cannot afford a loss. With Tennessee coming to town, and Tennessee's looking really good right now. and then you get into the grind of the SEC. You have to play Texas. So these first 3 games are games that you really can't afford to lose.
Right, absolutely. Because we really need to win the 4 games that are the non-conference. And, I know we escaped last week. We've got half of them out of the way, but we badly need to win this one, the main game. That way you're like, okay, well, there's 4 wins. Now out of the don't we play 8 SEC games?
That's right.
Out of those, you got to hope that we can win at least half of those, and you get the 8 wins.
That's
and
right.
I feel like with a new quarterback, a new offensive line, and a new coordinator, a new conference, like 8 wins isn't horrible, But you got to win 4 of these non-conference games, because it's going to be difficult to win 4 of the 8 SEC games. And Tennessee looks strong. Texas looks strong. Alabama looks, I know they remind me of OU back in the early 2000s, where we could complain and gripe about a freaking 4 touchdown win. How many touchdowns did y'all win by last week? Didn't y'all still win by about 25, 30 points?
Yeah, it was 42-16, but it's a little misleading. We was up 21-16 with just 7 or 8 minutes left to go. It's just South Florida just quit playing. After we scored that last touchdown and made it 28-16, I think they just rolled over at that point. They just give up. And they weren't tackling. They weren't even trying to play at that point. So that's why I say the score's a little misleading. It's probably what the score should have been. If it was a legitimate 42-16, I wouldn't be pissed. But it's the fact that for 3 quarters it was 14-13, and we had three turnovers, and we had multiple penalties on one guy. Wilkins Formby had like 4 holding calls on him. And we should have benched that guy coming out of halftime. Instead, we waited to the 4th quarter and bench him. And then when we bench him, we start scoring. So,
I didn't know it went down like that. I was in the middle of watching the OU game, and then I had some money on a few others. And I went back and I did watch the replay of it, but I guess I didn't have my eye on the clock. I just seen the highlights where Alabama, scoring touchdowns And them highlights are deceiving, because they even made OU's win look better than it was when I go back and watch the highlights, because I'm like, I see Jackson Arnold throwing a touchdown, and I see him throw another touchdown, and then I see him complete a first down down the field for a first down when we needed it, and then I see the defense get the safety, and I'm like, we did all right. But I watched it live as it happened, and it was not it was not pretty at all.
But if it had been a legitimate 42-16, it would have been different. But it was sort of, it's like you said, man, we got lucky in the fact that we were able to run the score up a little bit at the end, because they just rolled over. Whereas Houston didn't really roll over for you guys. So people look at that score. A lot of people, like you said, don't even bother to watch the game if it's not their team. And Alabama South Florida is not a marquee matchup. So we got lucky that score ended up the way it was, because if they really known what happened, they probably would have dropped us in the polls a little bit, to be quite honest. We probably deserved to be dropped about 6th or 7th.
Yeah, and I get what you're saying. Had it been 42-10, in the 3rd quarter,
right,
and then, a couple scores or something got scored on them in the 4th quarter, then you feel a lot different about it than whenever it's a 1-score game with 7 minutes left. But the only thing I can say is how they woke up and like, okay, dude, we got to quit screwing around, man. There's 7 minutes left or 8 minutes, whenever it was, and they got the ball and scored. We're only up by 1 score. We got to go make this a 2-score game. At least they did turn that switch on. For OU, they just never truly turned it on. The only thing I can say where they kind of did turn it on is that offense did finally. They went from like 1-2-3 punt, 1-2-3 punt over and over to when we really, really needed it. They did go out there and have like a 3 or 4 minute drive. They got a few first downs. They milked some clock. And they honestly, if it wouldn't have been for that punter or that center taking his damn helmet off, we would have milked all the clock. Like, we would have totally done what we needed to do. I mean, we would have milked all of it except for they would have had one play. So they may have gotten the ball with just enough time for one play. So we damn near, and then we got the safety. So I guess we did kind of turn that switch on. The defense got the safety. The offense all of a sudden started picking up first downs. But we didn't go out there in the fourth quarter and score 2 or 3 quick scores like I would have liked to have seen us do, which is what I thought OU was going to
do. He took the helmet off before the safety, right?
Yes. Yeah. We got the safety.
The game was 14-12. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No. So, when we got the safety, it was 14-12. And then after we got the safety, I believe that was the drive where the offense finally started picking up some first downs. And I remember thinking, like, guys, just get a few first downs. Do something, man. Because this defense isn't going to be able to just keep stopping them over and over and over and over and over whenever we're 1, 2, 3 punt. And so they did. The defense got the safety, and then the offense was able to pick up some first downs and pretty much chewed up the clock up until I think it was Josh Bates. And he's the guy that supposedly he's a huge fan of Creed Humphrey. And Derek, my brother, says he's a real good kid, real good guy. And he says he's a fine young man, and the guy just made a mistake, you know. But I just feel like I like seeing – I have no problem with him being fired up and getting mad. But what I like to see is for him to go block somebody on the next play. Like, how about you take it out on that nose tackle right in front of you that's eating your quarterback's lunch all day?
So what do you think?
Like, how about you get mad then?
What do you think about Alabama? What do you think about them going into Wisconsin? 16-point favorites, last I saw.
Man, I feel like Alabama, just like they turned that switch on with 7 minutes left, I really think that they're going to – I was going back – to be honest with you, I've been going back and forth on whether or not to take the points on them. And at first I circled them and I said, man, they're going to whoop Wisconsin, man. And I thought they'd whoop them by at least 3 scores. But then when you were telling me that you thought it was kind of a high, that the spread was kind of high on it, it kind of made me start kind of second guessing it a bit. But I'm not 100% sure on the game this weekend. I could see them covering. I could also see it being a close game, and then Alabama pulls it out at the end. But as far as Alabama as a whole, I think they're still a damn good football team, man. I really do. And that Kalen DeBoer is a really good coach. Like,
if y'all don't mind, jump out of the chat and smash the like button and share it out to everybody. You hit that like button, it pushes the algorithm, and it'll get more people up in here. We're almost up to 40 people now. But a few comments here. Tennessee is going to Shannon Sharpe our ass if we don't get it together.
Right. Pretty much. Yep. That's pretty much it.
NIL commish in the house says, I made a short asking Lincoln Riley what it felt like farting in front of his wife. I want the outlaw to see it. Damn skittle shitter. Well, I haven't seen that video. Lincoln Riley farts in front of his wife. He don't look like the kind of guy that would do that. He looks like he might squeeze it a little bit. Maybe run to the bathroom. I don't know. But if you you send me that link to the video, you can send it to me on Twitter. We call it X now. You can send it to me on X at OCF Productions in my DM. Send me a link to it, and I might even play it on the next live stream or podcast if it's pretty funny. I don't have any problems with doing that. Go ahead.
I haven't seen none of that, but I kind of get the feeling Lincoln Riley is one of them guys that votes for the president that agrees with tampons in the men's restroom. So there's no telling, man.
Lincoln Riley probably buys tampons in the restroom.
He probably does.
He's probably got one shoved right up his ass right now. We got some games this week. Friday night, we got UNLV at Kansas. That doesn't sound like much, but UNLV is undefeated, and they've been scoring.
Right.
They've been scoring on everybody they played so far. Houston and some other FCS school. So Kansas got upset by Illinois. So Kansas may be going back to being Kansas. Who knows?
Right.
Arizona plays at Kansas State. That'll be a good game. Both of those teams struggled last week. Arizona struggled with Northern Arizona, and Kansas State struggled with Tulane. Who do you see winning that game at Kansas State?
I still think it would be Kansas State because Arizona, they still have Fafita. Arizona does, and I like Fafita. I've won money picking with that guy on cards, but they don't have the coach. What's his name? Fish. The guy that went to Washington. But yeah, they've kind of. I don't have as much faith in Arizona as I did last year. They were a pretty good, solid team last year, but I'd have to go with K-State, I guess, on that one.
Lance Fleury says that Neckbeard looks and sounds different tonight. He's talking about Jonathan Lewis. Yeah,
right.
This ain't Jonathan Lewis. This is an entirely different person tonight.
That's funny. Yeah, and I shaved my neck beard.
Yours ain't really a neck beard.
All right.
You could probably maybe you could teach Jonathan how to grow a beard since you got one.
Yeah, he just seen the John on there probably. Johnny.
Eco Jars in the house says Johnny John's my brother.
Oh, that is my brother. He's supposed to be coming over to help me out with that college football song that we're doing. I sent him. He said, "Man, can you send me what you got?" And the problem is I got to send it from my son's laptop straight to it. I tried to email it to you, but it wouldn't let me.
Right.
I have to have your actual email address. But yeah, I think it's going to be pretty cool. I just wasn't 100% happy with it because I
go ahead.
I literally did the guitar, the bass, the vocals. I would say I did the drums. We had to program the drums because my son's electric bass drum went out. Okay. And it's almost just the same. It cost a little bit more to just buy the whole kit. Like just buying one cost more, cost about 2/3 the price of a whole new one. So I'm thinking about just maybe getting a whole new one. But of course it goes out right when we're doing your song.
I think I know what we need to do. We need to get the Outlaw Posse and come see you play one night. Everybody get together and just have a next Halen tailgate party.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
What about this game right here? This is a unique matchup. Memphis at Florida State. Memphis is Mike Norvell's former team. And Memphis is considered to be one of the best G5 schools out there that might be able to get that G5 spot in the playoffs. You think Memphis has a chance to make Florida State go 0-3? Florida State, if they want to have any chance of salvaging their season, they have to figure out a way to win this game. But I could see it being close. And at Florida State, they need to not make it close. They need to just go out there and whoop them. But I could see it being a close game, man. And Florida State is it at Florida State? It is.
It is.
But so was Boston. Boston College went there and beat them.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to pick Florida State to win a game right now. God, they're bad.
Especially with Georgia Tech losing to Syracuse. Now it makes them look like that Georgia Tech wasn't really that good.
Right. Yeah, it's bad. When I start getting depressed about my Oklahoma Sooners, I just look at Florida State and I think, man.
Yeah, that's what everybody do. That's good advice. Everybody's complaining about Alabama and Oklahoma struggling. Just go look at Florida State.
Yep.
Or Notre Dame.
Yeah.
The one loss that Notre Dame took was probably equal to 2 losses by Florida State.
Exactly.
LSU at South Carolina. This game has become very interesting. South Carolina surprised me, man. They struggled with Old Dominion the first week, and then they turn around and just beat the shit out of Kentucky at Kroger Field in Lexington. I couldn't believe they done that. And LSU struggling. They lost to USC, and then they struggled with Nicholls State. So what do you think about this game, LSU at South Carolina?
Oh, man, I'm actually going to go with South Carolina on this one because, yeah, I'm actually going with that one. I'm not saying LSU can't win it. I'm sure they can, and I hope they do. But, yeah, I actually, surprisingly, would have to go with South Carolina on this one.
You think they'll beat them straight up?
I think they'll definitely win by the spread. What is the spread on that game? Does it say it on there?
It don't have the spread on it. I should have brought me up some spreads, what I should have done. Boston College plays at Missouri. This is a game of two ranked teams after Boston College beat Florida State. We still don't know how good Boston College is, really, because Florida State, who got beat by Georgia Tech got beat by Syracuse. So we really don't know how good these teams are yet. They play at Missouri. It would not surprise me if Missouri actually just blew these guys out, because I just don't think Boston College's win over Florida State holds much weight to me.
Me neither. Yeah, I would if I had to bet money on it, circle them on a parlay card, I would definitely take Missouri on it.
I'm like you. I'm wondering what the line is on that. West Virginia plays Pittsburgh in the backyard brawl. It's been renewed. Pittsburgh barely pulled out a game last week against Cincinnati. They were down 27-6. West Virginia's did not look really good at it either, so it's sort of a blah game for me. Usually I like the backyard brawl, but this game really does nothing for me.
Right. I'm not going to be. It's not going to be one I'm watching.
Washington State plays at Washington. Washington State started pretty good this year. Washington looked sort of middling, I guess. It wouldn't surprise me if Washington State upset Washington.
Yeah, I like the Washington's the new coach they got. Like, basically Alabama stole their coach, and then they stole Arizona's coach. And Jed Fish, I think is that guy's name. But I mean, he don't have Fajito with him. He don't have, I think he's still getting it together.
I am Sooner thinks that the Alabama will beat Wisconsin by 40 or 40 to 24.
Yeah.
40 to 24. So that's right on the push. That's a push. We got some lines for you. LSU minus 6.5. LSU's favored by 6.5 on the road.
Damn, oh, dude. I wonder if that's how it is on my card. I need to check my card. I can't do it while I'm on here. I wish I had I need to get, we do have a laptop, but my wife's on one, kids on the other, but I wish I had it right here. I'd check these while we're on this, but, God, dude. I mean, I guess I could see LSU winning it by one touchdown and then you lose the bet, but God, I would. And I'll tell you something else. I hate those spreads that are 6.5. I always like taking the underdog. Now, if it's over 8, I'll take the favorite if it's 6.5, and then if it's a spread like 7.5, a lot of times I'll take the dog on it just because simple math. A lot of times these guys will win by one score or whatever. And I hate it whenever it's 6.5, and then you're the team that you went with, they get beat by exactly one touchdown, you lose it by half a point. And it seems like that happens quite a bit too.
That's right. Calvin Glover thinks that the Memphis and Florida State game will bring out the shit.
That was good too, man.
You like that? I done on my podcast, man. Had everybody cracking up at Florida State, man. I don't feel sorry for Florida State at all. They're the biggest bunch of crybabies I've seen in quite a while, man. They're talking about they want out of the ACC. Hell, the ACC may want them out the way they're playing.
Right.
Mizzou is a 16.5 at home against BC. I'd take that. I'd take Mizzou.
What?
I think Mizzou can beat them by 17. It's a big line.
Yeah.
It's a big line, but it's at Mizzou, so.
Right. And they probably could end up winning at freaking 40. I could see them winning at 42 to 17 or something like that,
Not that anybody's ever said that Farouk Field, or whatever it's called, is intimidating. I never heard anybody say anything good about Missouri's football field.
Yeah, it's not one of them ones that's it's not like going to Tennessee or Alabama or LSU for sure, because That's a familiar stadium for us right there. And
yeah, don't y'all y'all sort of own that stadium, don't you?
right? Yeah.
Ain't that
and they were pretty good.
I would call that Eastern Norman.
Yeah.
That'll piss them off. Y'all ain't get shit out to the Mizzou fans because they've been talking mad shit about Oklahoma the whole offseason.
They have. I think they're wanting to be like maybe they're wanting to replace OSU, I guess, and be the second rivalry with us because they really don't have like a true rivalry in the SEC. I think they were kind of hoping that maybe Missouri and Arkansas would be a rivalry, but it hasn't really been. And then, they came here with A&M, so maybe that would be, but it hasn't really been. So maybe they're just really needing a rivalry, maybe. I don't know what the deal is.
I used to like Arkansas, but, man, they just become so blah, man. Is anybody really want to be their rival? I mean, really? Texas A&M plays at Florida. So this is a game that's make or break for both of these teams. Whoever loses this game is probably going to end up not going to a bowl.
Right.
Because both of them don't look that great to me. Texas A&M's loss at home to Notre Dame suddenly looks like crap. So what do you think? Texas A&M over Florida, or Florida? You think Florida rights the ship a little bit?
God, if Florida's at home with that one too?
Yep.
You said Florida at A&M?
No, it's at Florida.
Oh, it's at Florida?
It's at the Swamp.
God.
But of course, Miami went in there and handed them their ass. So,
right. I don't know, man. I guess I would if I had to. It's a coin flip for me. I could see either one of them winning it, honestly.
Yeah, it's like a who cares game of the week almost. To be honest, even though they're two big names, they have nothing about them, man, that really makes you go ooh or ah.
Right.
If Florida don't win this game against A&M, I could see them only winning 3 or 4 games this year.
Which is incredible to me, man, because I remember Florida being such a great football team. Like, not only when they had Steve Spurrier and then of course Urban Meyer and Tim Tebow, the 40-year-old virgin. Mm-hmm. But it's incredible how they've deteriorated over the last 15 years or so.
Oregon plays at Oregon State. Oregon's not looked too good the first couple of weeks.
I know it.
Of course, you see it all the time in college football where they struggle like that, and then all of a sudden just a light switch goes on, especially for the bigger programs. Like you was talking about with Alabama, the light switch just went on in the fourth quarter. You think the light switch comes on against Oregon State on the road?
I feel like if there's a game for it to come on, it's going to be that game for them because it's on the road though, man. I know Oregon State's pretty damn scrappy though. God.
Oh yeah, I think they may be undefeated right now.
They might be. I know they're always a pretty scrappy team because it's that team that I like watching play against Lincoln Riley and I always liked the way they were scrappy and gave him a dog fight and stuff. But they're a pretty tough football team. I still like Dylan Gabriel. He didn't leave on bad terms. And he's done well. It's just, God, I don't know. They just, for whatever reason, man, they're not looking real good. They've done what OU did, but they did it 2 weeks, 2 weeks in a row.
So Oregon has opened up at 17, and it's now 16.5 on the road against an in-state rival. I would take Oregon State.
Me too. And I wanted to take them last week. They got 20 points last week, or you had to give up 20 points with Boise State. And I said, it pissed me off because I ended up taking Iowa instead, and that costed me $200. I had a $275 parlay I would have won. And I took Nebraska, I took Texas, and I took OSU, and I wanted to take Boise State getting 20 points. It ended up being a 3-point game. But everybody said trap game. Oregon is no way going to play bad 2 weeks in a row. They're going to take care of business. And I thought, yeah, you guys are right. they're not going to do that 2 weeks in a row. So I went ahead and went with Iowa. I felt like it was a safer bet, and I thought they would whoop Iowa State by at least 10 to 14 points at home. And they were for the first 3 quarters. And then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, they just blew it. I was like, dang it, man.
Calvin Glover says Washington opened up 8.5, but it's now down to 4.5 over Washington State. If it's just 4.5, that'd be a hard game for me to bet on. I don't think I'd touch it. I probably wouldn't even worry about betting on that shit. If I was forced to bet on it, I would probably take Washington State because I think they could upset Washington.
So that means my parlay card's probably going to be 8 or 9 points, probably 8 points. And that means I'm taking the dog because anytime money comes in late and those spreads go down by half like that, man, there's usually a reason. There's usually a reason why people are loading up on that other side.
Yep, red flag right there.
Yep.
Wow, I probably wouldn't even touch that shit, man. I'd leave it alone.
Stay away from it, yeah.
I mean, but hey, like I said, if I was forced to, I'd still go Washington State. If it was still 8.5, I'd definitely take Washington State. I wouldn't even blink an eye.
That's exactly why, because my cards come out on Monday. And when these cards start dropping, on Thursday and Wednesday and Friday, well, our cards are already printed. So I get locked in with those point spreads that come out Sunday night because we get them Monday morning usually, or at least Monday afternoon. And so whenever that point spread is 4 points different, that's like getting a free teaser because you can tease them for you get less money per dollar or whatever that you put on it, but you get an extra 4 points all the way across the board in your favor. So whenever your card is 4 points higher than what the line is currently at, that's like a free teaser, so it's a good safe bet.
That's right. Now UTSA played Texas close last year up until the fourth quarter, and they played Texas. They're playing Texas again. I don't know if they can keep it close again. I just don't know. I mean, Texas has looked so good, but they played against some subpar competition. To me, Michigan is a defending champion only in name. They probably shouldn't be ranked in the top 25, to be honest with you. Michigan looked horrible.
Yeah, they did.
That's why I say it's just like USC beating LSU. I'm unwilling to give USC any kudos yet because I think LSU might suck. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess. But USC's schedule looks like it's lining up to be pretty easy for them after all because Notre Dame looks like shit right now. And they play Notre Dame later in the year. So –
and then they don't play Oregon.
They may end up winning 10 games this year, USC might.
I know. That's what I was saying whenever you were saying you think that they could end up as an 8-4 team. I start looking at their schedule, and I thought the same thing, 7 or 8 wins. But then you look at their schedule, and I'm like, damn, dude, who's going to be the 4 or 5 teams that beat them because they don't play Ohio State, they don't play Oregon. Notre Dame ain't that good. Michigan's not that good.
Yeah, exactly.
LSU, they ended up not being as good, so they kind of lucked out on their schedule.
They really did. They're probably thinking they're lucky stars that they didn't get out of that game because now beating LSU sets them up for a nice little push.
Right, it does.
Georgia plays at Kentucky. Kentucky looked like shit against South Carolina, so I don't even know if this game's even worth talking about. Now watch me say that, and Kentucky beat Georgia.
Or it's close.
It happens all the time in football.
It does. You're right, man. I mean, obviously we're picking – everyone's going to pick Georgia, but it could end up being a close game. And whenever our teams are struggling against mediocre or even bad teams, I always think about – I know when OU won the championship, we played a terrible OSU team. This was not anything close to the OSU team today. And we had to win that game 12-7. And we had to bat down 4 passes in the end zone, dude, at the end of that game. You talk about scary. We had to bat down 4 passes. I think they threw it into the end zone 4 straight times. They were down there in the red zone. And we barely won it on the hair of our teeth, 12-7. And then we had to win the national championship game 13-2. And yeah, you know what I mean? So, now winning against Florida State, who at the time was, they were considered the best team in football. They were the favorites to win the Natty.
And they are considered an offensive juggernaut. And y'all held them to 2 points.
Right. So that one wasn't embarrassing. But, going to Stillwater, and I think they were like a 2 or 3 win team that year. And it ends up being a 12-7 game, and then there was also a game the very next year. We had to beat Arkansas 10-3 in the Cotton Bowl, and we had to beat Texas, ironically, in the same Cotton Bowl. We had to beat them 14-3. And then we got beat by OSU that year 16-13. And then, hell, even when we had Lincoln Riley, there was a game against a terrible West Virginia team. We had to win it 16-13. And that was with Lincoln Riley's high-flying offense. It was still 16-13. Then there was a close one against Nebraska that year where we won it like 20-something to, I want to say it may have been like 24-16 or 23-16 type of score.
Calvin Glover is our resident point line man. He's give us the Vanderbilt's 10.5 over Georgia State. Georgia State in name don't look like much, but Georgia State's a decent team. It wouldn't surprise me if Vanderbilt struggled against them after 2 big wins because it is Vanderbilt. They might, go into that less of a focus type deal, just like Alabama and Oklahoma did. So it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't cover the 10.5, coming off a couple of big wins for Vanderbilt. They're in uncharted territory. But I'd like to know the line on Colorado and Colorado State. Did we already go over that? Did he give us the line?
I don't think we addressed the line on it.
You wouldn't know the line on Colorado versus Colorado State, would you, Calvin?
I'm gonna say it's is it a 3-point line maybe?
It said Colorado State, I think. It said Fort Collins, so would think it would be somewhere along in that area, since they look like horse shit against Nebraska.
Right. I was thinking of maybe a 1 score. Maybe it's a 6.5 or a 3 or something like that. Maybe.
It says here that now Colorado is a 7-point favorite.
7, yeah. Okay, that's about what I thought.
I don't like them lines like that because if it ends up on 7, that could be a push easy.
Yep, that's why I hate those, man.
I want the 6.5 or the 7.5. I want that half in there.
Yep, me too.
Ben, you should do a segment on betting, man. You look like you know a lot about betting. You probably take
I swear, I think the more games I watch and the more I study, the more I realize how unpredictable these damn teams are, man, and how hard it is to win. Like last week, I said, dude, my lock pick, for sure, my lock picks, Texas, there's no way, dude. And it wasn't just because I think Texas is like the best team in college. I hate Texas. But it was mostly that I think Texas is a good football team, and I think that Michigan is not very good at all. They have taken several steps backwards. And I said, dude, I don't know how that is. I think it was a 7-point spread on my card. And I said, dude, if Michigan is lucky, if they're lucky, they'll keep it within 10, 2 scores. They'll keep it 10 to 14 points if they're lucky. But I see Texas winning this by, 24 points, maybe 21 points. They're going to whoop them by 3 or 4 scores. And I felt almost the whole world knew it. So that was like my lock pick. And then Nebraska against Colorado at home. I felt like Nebraska was a much better football team. So I'm really good at finding those lock picks. But my problem is when I pick like 4 teams on a parlay, it's always 3 out of 4. There'll be that one team that screws me every time, man.
It'll be some obscure game like Iowa and Iowa State.
Yeah, and they'll be winning the whole time, and then right at the last second, oh man, they just made it a 9-point game. But it's okay. I'm not worried.
Alabama almost did that to whoever bet on South Florida. We was a 31-point favorite over South Florida. And whoever took the points in South Florida probably felt pretty good about themselves. it's 21-16 with 7 minutes left to go, and all of a sudden it's 42-16. If Alabama scores one more touchdown, Alabama covers after only leading 21-16 with 7 minutes left to go. That's just the way college football is, man.
Yep, it is. Like I was on the opposite end of it with the OSU game. I was losing that one the whole time, and then it went into overtime, and it was a 7-point spread, which is why I hate them. But to be honest with you, I thought OSU returned like 20 starters from last year, including the really good running back and their quarterbacks back, and I really just thought at home, 20 returning starters. I really thought that OSU would be able to beat them by at least 10 to 14 points. And it just never – honestly, Arkansas looked like the better team. And so I got lucky.
They give that game away.
They did. Arkansas did, man. And I got lucky because I ended up winning it by 1 point. And once it went in overtime, I said, well, I'm screwed, because they're either going to win this by like a field goal or they're going to win it. You know, maybe if I'm lucky, they'll score a touchdown and an extra point and then stop them on 4th down, and then they win by 7. But they ended up having it where you have to go for 2. OSU barely gets the 2 and then stops them on 4th down. And I'm like, oh my God, I could not believe I just won this. Then the one that I had in hand ended up falling apart. It went the other way on me. So I got paid back on that next game.
That's right.
Yeah, it sucked. But it was fun, though, man. It made it fun.
All right, brother, I'm going to let you get out of here. I'm fixing to get out of here myself. But it's been real fun tonight. We've done a lot of discussing of certain topics that I didn't think I was going to have to discuss until I come on here and Shannon Sharpe's dropping his drawers and everybody see him. But, yeah, I really enjoyed doing the picks with you. I think that was pretty cool. But you want to tell us where we can find you, or if you maybe want to give a push to your band, Next Halen?
Yeah, Next Halen's at Ritz Theater in Shawnee, Oklahoma next Saturday. And it's a Journey tribute band and a Van Halen tribute band. And then Sooner Magic Bros, we hop on there when we can. And I'll make sure I keep the cussing down, to a minimum. I'll make sure we're not, several beers in when we record it next time. But yeah, man, that's it.
I just had to cut out the F-bombs and the MFs and stuff like that, man. You can usually get away with the PG-13 ones like jackass and shit. But, the big cuss words that get you in trouble.
That's totally it, dude. Roy D. Mercer, I don't know if you ever heard about him. If you haven't, you can thank me later when you YouTube Roy D. Mercer. He was the king of keeping stuff PG-13 and being hilarious while he did it. And but he was real well known, like Tulsa, and he'd call people Missouri and Arkansas and Kansas and Oklahoma City. But he was this guy that was hilarious. But he was a master at that, man. He knew how to be funny, be cool, and keep it barely below PG-13. That's right. That's what I got to do.
I've learned to make up my own adjectives too, and maybe fiddle around with the wording and the way it's spelled. Like fugger, F-U-G-G-E-R.
You're right.
And skittle shitter, stuff like that. Because they don't want me saying the gay kind of words that get you in trouble. So skittle shitter is what I come up with.
Right. Yeah, nowadays you probably can't even say, them girly boys down there in California. But right. Nowadays you might tell people.
Well, I'm just trying to throw out equal opportunity. I make fun of straight people, so I think I should be able to make fun of gay people too.
So. Exactly. That's only fair, man. Before you know it, though, they're going to get mad that we're not making fun of them. And, how come we're getting left out? Is it, before you know it, they'll be turning it on us where, I don't know, they find a way to be upset about something all the time, man. Hey, something you haven't talked about, man, is that Tyreek Hill. What do you think about that whole deal? I got to watch some of the video, but I didn't see a whole lot of it.
I just read the headlines on it, and I pretty much figured out the gist of it without watching it. Because sometimes I won't watch stuff like that because it'll piss me off and get my blood pressure.
Right.
Because I know, when you make up lies on law enforcement's already behind the 8 ball, dealing with a lot of people, especially minorities, and it's disgusting, man. That they think they can just take advantage of race bait and shit and getting out of stuff when whatever they've done, they deserve to be punished for. It ain't got nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with race whatsoever. Just like with Deion Sanders, I'm not making fun of him because he's a black coach. I'm making fun of him because he's an idiot. To me, my opinion. It has nothing to do with skin color. I don't even care if he's black. So
it's like, dude,
I guess you get tired of the freaking double standards and them getting away with doing stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, it's like, dude, we're not making fun of you for being 4-8. We're not. Oh crap. I don't know if I.
Well, I guess Johnny John got cut off early somehow. A little technical difficulties. We was about to let Johnny Johns go anyway. But y'all have any topics that y'all want to touch on before I get out of here? Maybe want to pose a question to me. Just click on the thing down at the bottom. If not, I'm fixing to get up out of here myself. See what he says here. He called a hardware store that sold him foam sealer because his dog chewed and sealed its mouth shut and drowned in its own snot. I guess y'all talking about that Roy D. Mercer guy, right? Johnny John's back.
My bad. I accidentally hit one button and screwed the whole thing up. I was clicking on the chat and it just totally bounced me out of there. Yeah, he was talking about Roy D. Mercer.
That's right.
But yeah, all I was saying for that went out is it's like, dude, we're not making fun of you because you're black. We're making fun of you about being 4-8 because you're 4-8.
Yeah, there's nothing to do with your skin color or the fact that your son can't rap. It ain't none of that stuff.
You're right.
You can get the Colorado band to play it all you want. It ain't gonna change anything. He's not gonna be a big time rap star. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. And Tyreek Hill was in the wrong, dude. I don't. He thought he was above the law, and pulling the race card. If I'm not mistaken, one of them officers in that video, he was definitely not a white guy. I couldn't tell what he was, but he was definitely not a white guy. So I don't know how he's gonna pull the race card on that one. But yeah, it's just if we get pulled over and we roll our window up on the car with completely dark blacked out tint where they can't see, you have no idea. If you're the officer, you have no idea what they're doing on the other side of that window. If it was me or you, they would have busted that window, tased our ass, and we would have got hauled off to jail, and there wouldn't have been nobody feeling sorry for us for sure.
Just like I said, man, it's just the way things are done these days, society in general, man. It's just it's sickening, disgusting, especially politically speaking too. So,
yeah.
All right, brother, that's all I got tonight for you. Maybe we can do this again, maybe a Sunday night or something.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. And if you do one, yeah, definitely.
All right, brother. We'll check.
All right, brother. We take it easy, man. We'll see how this goes this weekend.
All right, Roll Tide, Boomer Center.
Absolutely, Boomer Center, Roll Tide.
And that was Johnny Johns of Next Halen and Sooner Magic Brothers. They got a little podcast they do as well. So y'all got anything else for me? I know NAL Commish asked me, is OU beating Tulane? Yes, I think that OU will beat Tulane. I think they be a little more focused this week. At least I hope they are. They could struggle again like Oregon did 2 weeks in a row. I could be wrong. But I think OU will pull that game out. And if it's a 13.5 line, man, that's a lot of points. But it's just 2 touchdowns, right? I think they might even be able to cover the line. All right, brothers and sisters, it's been real and it's been fun. I'm gonna get up out of here unless y'all got some more questions. I'll give y'all a few seconds. If y'all want to click on the little money dollar sign at the bottom and make a little donation to the program and get your questions answered above everybody else's, Just click on that, write your comment out, and then hit send. All right. Tick-tock to tick-tock goes the clock in the midnight hour. Y'all got any big-time upsets that y'all think is going to happen this week? Any big upsets that you see happening? Anything that's surprising? Anything that nobody's thinking about? The one game I don't think everybody's thinking about is Indiana at UCLA. Indiana has won their first couple of games, I think, and UCLA hasn't really looked too good. So I wouldn't be surprised if Indiana went on the road and upset UCLA. Well, all right. KMCA to all the other teams class is now officially dismissed.